And a good Saturday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. The big picture, we have this area of low pressure here, the surface low, which is going to be tracking sort of toward the St. Lawrence River Valley. It's bringing in, of course, the warm sector, and currently we have a dry slot. It's actually brought some sunshine to parts of the Adirondack Mountains just off to the west of our region. Some of that's going to slip in across Vermont, and what that is going to do is serve up a little bit of fuel, boost the temperature just a bit on this Saturday, and it's also going to produce some thunderstorm activity that's going to break out in these most sunniest areas, roughly across portions of central New York, a little bit into the Adirondack Mountains. These will fall apart as they head toward the southern part of Vermont. One or two could make it into, say, Bennington County, maybe southern Rutland County, but these are going to fall apart and they'll hold together a little bit better, as this usually takes place across these more southerly locations of southern New England. Taking a look quickly at the precipitation, you can see that we have generally all rain, just a little bit of wet snow on the backside of this thing, and we're going to see some of that interact on Sunday night across some portions of the upper elevations of the Green Mountains. And really, it's not going to be a big deal. In terms of wind, we have some winds we'll have to deal with here, especially on more on Monday afternoon on the backside of this departing area of low pressure when it'll be working into the Canadian Maritimes. It'll be running into a block. You can kind of see these weather systems. They run into a block and kind of hang out here, and that's what this next one's going to be doing. And we'll have a stronger northwesterly flow that's going to dip the temperature for the middle part of next week. It'll also bring gradually colder air aloft, and so a little bit of minor wet snow accumulation, and mainly our higher elevations. We'll have a couple of nice days, it looks like Wednesday and Thursday, and then beyond that, we're looking at another weather system very much like this one. This will be developing with this shortwave trough you can see out here in the west. This will eventually work across the country and pick up moisture off the Gulf of Mexico and repeat this weather pattern. This next one, it'll be a little bit colder out ahead of it, and we could see some wintry mix, especially from Wednesday night into the morning hours on Thursday, and probably affecting travel. It does look like the wind potential that is ahead, some gusty gradient winds, mostly northwesterly on Monday as well as Tuesday. Two separate bouts, mostly confined in the afternoon, daytimes. Just gusty winds out of the northwest with marginal 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts, and then one basically 35 to isolated 50 mile an hour gusts. That one will be from the southeast with the approaching next shortwave that'll produce another area of low pressure, a little bit deeper, a little stronger, and it'll draw some winds and interact with the terrain, and then downslope a little bit on those immediate western slopes. Right now, this looks like it'll be valid somewhere along Wednesday night, Thursday, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a big deal at this point. Again, relatively marginal impacts for utilities. This is the European on the left, the GFS ensemble on the right, and as we run the model, you can see a little bit of a dry slot here. Even the ensemble is picking a little bit of that up. This is valid through about 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. And this is where we're seeing that thunderstorm activity that'll kind of fill in right in this sort of dry slot as it tracks through parts of New York and then kind of shifts across that southern part of New England. But that's going to be affecting us, looks like after 8 o'clock through about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or so. And this is mainly going to be confined down, and again, southern Vermont with a little bit of thunderstorm activity kind of falling apart. Otherwise, we're looking at moderate, potentially heavy rain shower activity, fairly brief to roll on through. And that's going to move on through and then move on out of the region on Sunday. It's a little bit more unsettled, and we'll start to see colder air start to swing in and affect our local higher terrain with the slightly bluer colors here. This is valid by around 11 o'clock on Sunday evening. And then going into Monday, we start to clear that out just a little bit with this little second bout of snow showers or snow flurries on Monday afternoon. Note the kind of gradient winds here, a little bit of a trough of lower pressure. You can kind of see that right here. It kind of slips on through during Monday afternoon. So that gets kind of reactivated with a little bit of precipitation. Might even see a little bit of sunshine in the morning hours on Monday, and then partly to mostly cloudy. And gusty northwest winds on the backside of this departing area of low pressure. You can see how it's kind of stalled out. It's being blocked over toward some Greenland blocking. And so consequently, it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to be right on the edge. But this area of higher pressure will fill in, and we'll get a decent day, it looks like, on Tuesday into Wednesday, and probably the best day Tuesday with the most sunshine, with this affording the strongest area of higher pressure there. So this is valid again with that area of higher pressure, and it'll linger into the day on Wednesday. But this is going to be approaching, and it's going to get very, very close by the end of the day. So daylight hours only on Wednesday are dry. And then we're getting into this zone here, where we're going to see some mixed precipitation types. And not only that, you can see the pressure gradient's a little stronger. This is where we have southeasterly winds interacting with the Green Mountains. And along the western slopes, we might see wind gusts potentially isolated as high as 50 miles per hour. But for the most part, this does not look like a big, impactful event ahead. But it will have a combination of different precipitation types going into the day on Thursday morning anyway. And then that gets whisked on out, changes over to rain showers, scatters out. And thereafter, beyond the period on Friday, we're looking at still some unsettled weather. Kind of hard to predict. There's a lot of possibilities here. The models kind of come apart at that point in time. And just to run it, this is valid into next Saturday night on the 26th. And then on the 27th on Sunday, you can see that we're seeing sort of unsettled weather through the entire period, with no real major storms, but potentially a little bit of wet snow and a slightly colder outlook beyond the period here. GFS ensemble plumes centered on Montpelier's grid here. You can see the biggest precipitation maker is going to happen tonight, as opposed to what we're seeing this morning. A little bit of a dry slot, and we have this secondary system. And then again, a little bit of a bump upward later in the day on Sunday and Sunday evening, and then things kind of give us a little bit of an opening here with the best weather on Tuesday into Wednesday, and then that next weather system. So total QPF looks like this, which is just accumulated precipitation totals. Now the blue line here with the GFS ensemble shows the most recent deterministic model run, so it's a little higher than the average, so you can kind of see how that works. But precip bump here, another precip bump here, levels off, and then not a whole lot going on until Wednesday night, Thursday, and you can see that that's a kind of a solid rise with a lot of gibberish. The overall QPF looks like that. Now, precipitation type, first we're going to explore the 850 hectopascal temperatures about the top of Mount Mansfield, and this is a good determining line here. So this is the 0-degree isotherm. So this matches up well with rain. When that temperature level is above the 0-degree isotherm, we're into warm liquid. Then we slide into subfreezing and frozen precipitation, and then back to liquid. You can kind of see that alternating back and forth. In terms of wind, not seeing tremendous amount of wind. It's only getting up around 40 at times, and that's why these are kind of speculative with just marginal wind gusts. That's good news there. And then in terms of precipitation type, the green is all rain, a little bit of wet snow. And then this system here, this is our problem area for travel. I suspect that Wednesday night, Thursday morning could be a little problematic for travel with a wintry mix in the area. Next 7 days from the Weather Prediction Center of the total accumulated precipitation totals, that blue line, that's 1 inch. These are 1.5 inches, so kind of across Vermont is a little bit of a weak spot, if you will, with more to the south of us, south and east, and then more to the north and west. Taking a look at temperature, we're looking at, of course, above normal temperatures, anomalous temperatures there, with conditions supporting that warmth across the eastern seaboard here. And quickly, the meteorological output statistics, or MOS, shows us running about 3 degrees above normal, and that's the next 5 days of high temperatures only, coldest in the southwest, and then we have temperatures again about 3 degrees above normal, holding 3 days later, 3 to 7 days total. Again, these are higher temperatures. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Gonna salvage my Saturday. Adios.